Talkticians, if you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you are not, welcome back. My name is Tatiana. I'm your go-to conflict resolution coach. I help you to apply communication strategies to help you woo your boo and your boss. So if you're looking to win at home and at work, stick around. Today, we are talking all about truth. Now, how many times have you heard people say something like, I don't care about anybody's feelings. I'm going to say what I have to say. Or, I can't help it. I'll tell it like a TI is. It's not your fault, okay? Not only do we grow up in homes that teach us that this is okay, we are socialized that way. We're socialized to believe that this stance is noble and it's praiseworthy. Being a straight shooter or telling it like a TI is, it may get your feelings out in the moment, but is it effective? How much distance has been created between you and the people that you love because you've chosen this approach? And more importantly, how many people actually never heard the truth of your message because the delivery was so harsh? And since we're telling the truth, choosing not to care about a person's feelings, that's not noble. It's lazy. This stance lets us off the hook for developing the discipline, the awareness, and the accountability necessary to tell the truth well. Today, we'll take a look at the definition of truth and why it's so important. We'll also discuss why it's so hard to accept the truth. We'll also talk about why mastering the skill of compassionately telling the truth is so important, especially as a leader. And then I'm going to give you 4 practical tips that you can start using to tell the truth the right way starting today. So let's take a look at the Oxford definition. That which is true or in accordance with fact or reality. We need to know the truth. It's how we build healthy relationships. It helps us to make informed decisions. And it serves as a baseline. You need to know where you stand in order to know which steps to take to grow both professionally and personally. So knowing the truth is important, okay? Nobody's doubting that. Now, we've all heard that phrase that says, the truth hurts, and they are not lying. Hearing the truth can be very painful. It challenges the way that we view ourselves. It challenges our belief system. It brings up things that we might not necessarily be ready to deal with. And it can leave us feeling very exposed or vulnerable. So let me give you this example. Let's say that you believe yourself to be an amazing parent. You work 2 jobs. You sacrifice all of the little luxuries in life to make sure that your kids have everything that they need. Field trips, a roof over their head, clean clothes, just all of the things, right? And they grow up into their adulthood now, and they tell you that you really wasn't all that. In fact, they have a lot of emotional damage because you weren't there for them emotionally. That truth directly challenges the way that you view yourself. You are a good parent. That truth may even start to bring up some insecurities that you have about your parenting and the choices that you made. And that is painful. So knowing that the truth has the power to make us feel so vulnerable and it can challenge the very core of our belief systems, it is important for us to take special care when delivering it to another person. I love this quote by Bell Hooks. Honesty without empathy is cruelty. Talking about telling it like it is. Learning how to tell the truth without tearing people apart, it's a skill, okay? And it's a skill that leaders especially need to have. Honesty with empathy preserves your relationships. It shows the other person that you're communicating with that you actually value them, that you respect their feelings and where they're coming from. This is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships. This approach is also going to reduce defensiveness. People typically are going to be a lot more open to constructive criticism or to truth if they feel like you genuinely care and support them. If they feel attacked, if they feel like you are judging them, that's pretty much the end of the conversation. They're either going to get very defensive, start fighting you back, or they're going to shut down and not hear what you have to say. So on one side of the spectrum, we have the folks that are the straight shooters. They tend to be very direct, but that message also tends to be very harsh, which then adds to some unnecessary pain to the person that's hearing the truth, okay? Then you have people on the other side of the spectrum that maybe are a little bit more reserved in their approach. They really care about the person's feelings or they're conflict averse, and they either don't say too much of anything or they say a little bit too much and then the message gets lost in translation, okay? So we have these 2 ends of the spectrum. What we need to kind of balance the scales is empathy. Now, Maybe you do appreciate the more direct approach, and that's fine because there are a lot of people out there who like that approach. But as a leader and as a compassionate truth teller, you have to be more strategic, okay? You have to recognize that it's not necessarily about you in this moment. You want to make sure that you craft your message in a way that the person that you're talking to can hear you. You also have to decide which one is more important. You either want to be heard or you want the person to hear you. You decide. So, how do we become better truth tellers? Because this is a vital communication skill. My first tip, we kind of already talked about it. Be empathetic and be solution focused. Your goal is to tell the truth in a way that the person in front of you can actually receive it. This means doing the work beforehand to put yourself in that person's shoes. If the person in front of you is sensitive, you know that they need a lot of reassurance, especially when hearing the truth about themselves. Use that. Use that experience. Use that empathy to guide you in choosing the words that you use in that conversation. My second tip, you got to choose the right time and place. Christmas dinner in front of the whole family is not the time to have a conversation about this person's most vulnerable moments, okay? Just don't do it. You also want to make sure that it's the right place. And when I say place, I mean like the physical space and also your emotional space, okay? So, of course, make sure that it's private and make sure that both of you are in the mood to have this conversation. If you're both hangry or one person is hangry, upset, just not really feeling it, it's not the time to have the conversation. If either one of you is in a rush, that's also not the time to have the conversation. You don't just kind of drop a truth bomb and then be like, all right, I'm out. Like you can't do that. You have to be willing and ready to hear what that person has to say because it's a conversation. Okay. So time and place is important. My third tip, if you have not used this technique, give it a try. It's called the sandwich technique. So basically, you give a positive comment, you put the truth, positive comment. Okay, so let's think about that example that I used a few minutes ago with the good parent, right? The adult children in that situation, instead of just flat out saying, you are a crappy mom, they could say it like this. This is the positive bun. Look at it like that, or bread, whatever you use. Mom, we really appreciate what you did for us growing up. Here's the truth. But being honest, we often felt like we couldn't really come to you with things that we were struggling with and we couldn't talk about our feelings. Positive comment. We know that you did the best you could. We're just trying to get a better understanding of you so that we can move forward and have a better relationship. Positive, truth, positive. Sandwich technique. The truth was in there, but the first thing and the last thing that that parent heard were statements that were filled with gratitude and with acknowledgement. Okay. So that kind of brings the defenses down so that we can set the stage for a fruitful conversation. My final tip, mindfulness, 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 mindfulness. Okay. Use mindfulness to be curious and to care. Words are important, yes, but 93% of our communication is nonverbal. So you don't have to have all of the perfect words, but you do need to be mindful of your approach. Okay. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have a sibling that's been getting bullied, and at this point, you are sick and tired of it. The emotion of being sick and tired, the anger, the frustration, and really what is the fear of watching that sibling get bullied and not being able to stand up for themselves. It's fear. All of that emotion is going to be written all over you. Okay, whether you say the words or not. Now, if you go into the situation without curiosity, you're choosing to go into it with judgment and with anger. This is what it's going to sound like. Look, you're a pushover, and that's why nobody respects you. Huh? Okay, let me give you another way to say that, okay? Because that's going to cause problems. I don't have the perfect way to say this, but I noticed that you have trouble standing up for yourself. Why is that? Now, the first statement where you're like, you're a pushover, and that's why nobody respects you. That statement could be true, but is it effective? Okay, is it going to get you the results that you're looking for? Probably not. So I want you to remember, as truth tellers, we are being empathetic in our approach. We are being solution focused. We are talking with the end in mind. That second approach, where you say, I notice you have trouble standing up for yourself. Why is that? That is going to open up the person to think, maybe even to share, because you didn't come at them with judgment. You came at them with some curiosity. Okay, you're trying to figure out what's going on here. That's a lot less off-putting than the first option or the first approach. So the second approach is a question, okay? That's going to lead that person to think. that may also open up the conversation now for both of you to start talking about maybe some ways that they can improve or some other things that you've noticed. This is how you go about building close and healthy relationships. You do not have to be an expert to be a mindful communicator. You just have to practice. Yes, telling the truth in this way is work, but it is worth it. You are doing the work to unlearn those poor communication habits so that you can restore peace and harmony in all of your relationships, personal and professional. That's all I have for you today. I thank you so much for being here. I hope that these tips help you on your journey to becoming a better leader at home and at work. If you like this video, make sure that you go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, share, do all of the things, and I will see you next time. Peace.